Hello Galactic family. There is a palpable energy of rebellion in the air today, regardless of where you live and how satisfied you are with your status quo. If you live in the United States, and still processing the combative and angry election cycle, the energy of rebellion may seem like embers that are getting warmer every day. If you live elsewhere, and are trying to understand the nonsense that took place in the United States in the last 18 months, you may be feeling a little confused and uncertain. A portrait great. With so many unknowns and lots to process, as each new cycle of events unfold, it is useful at this stage to step back and consider a big picture. Continue reading to better understand what is happening behind the scenes that directly relate to your life and your way as a divine creator of change that is alive now to create a loving world. You're probably tired of tsunami news of the US elections are now turning into confusion the accounts of what to expect from the newly elected leadership of the US. North Americans, even the Americans who had little interest in U.S. election campaigns, are beginning to make deeper questions about what kind of country they want to be, and how that freedom looks like. Outside the U.S., people living elsewhere are also making their own and deeper reflections, wondering what kind of world will unfold and how stable it will be. Earthquakes gone are the days when a superpower like the United States could change all the rules about how it would operate with other countries, without having an earthquake reverberating around the globe. Trade agreements and climate agreements are much more than businesses that can be ripped on a whim without dire consequences. We have uncertainty around now. In the US, of course, but also in other countries having their own problems on immigration, threats of terrorism, financial instability and the emergence of a growing number of authoritarian and oppressive leaders. The notion of freedom and that has control of it, is a question is coming in a big way. Individuals are rebelling also actively or complaining to each other, feeling excluded and, in many cases, deprived of the rewards of society. Meanwhile, the rich get richer. Disinformation cycle. In conjunction with this, the disinformation cycle is now overcoming, making quite challenging to person, even the most educated and more demanding to know what is really going on. After a while, most people or simply turn off the news exposure or limit the input from some source. As an example of how harmful it can be, look like the government controlled media in some countries lead people to believe falsehoods or simply numb people who are tired of what they see. An apathetic and uninformed population is vulnerable to control by their leaders. What's important now? A key to move through these times the highest form is, stay grounded and conscious, questioning deeper than you usually do. Do not accept things just because the authorities tell you it's the best thing to do, or that you are unsure if you do not submit to something that you know on an inner level of your being that is wrong. Comfort in remembering that humanity is a long time in this crazy dance of opposites, light and darkness violently beating each other. Do not forget that you are part of humanity, too. We all together have created this dance. Riots and your DNA. Over the centuries, mankind has had numerous revolutions and upheavals. And you probably lived for a few of them. A part of you on a DNA level has the memory of these things. There may be prints within their DNA left over from previous rebellions, too. These impressions could now be rising to the surface of his psyche during these times, making you feel the excitement and anxiety even if you cannot understand it completely. This may occur regardless of where you live and what is happening in their country of origin. Because of a past witnessing these life experiences, or even leading a rebellion, you could have a great wisdom within you, on how to do things differently in this life. The wisdom of lessons learned, as well as the pain of unresolved things, written in their DNA. They remain there, often for hundreds of years until a key event occurs, bringing them to the surface of your consciousness. Examples of the year 2010 during the Arab Spring, with the news of his violent civil riots, their subconscious memories. The level of DNA, similar riots may have been provoked. Perhaps you have been living in an Arab country in a past life. Another possibility is that you had a traumatic life during a revolt elsewhere in the world. The energy of the revolutions and uprisings has many universal themes. If you lived many lives over time, you probably carries much wisdom of lessons learned and perhaps knowledge to the DNA level of what you will or will not do it again. Modern terrorist attacks in France can greatly stimulated the old wounds recorded in your DNA. If you or your ancestors lived in France during the French Revolution of 1789, most likely, too, you had a number of previous life experiences involving injustice and oppression. You do not need to remember them or do a reading of past life to feel a tug inside today, when you see that groups of people are being targeted because of their sex, race, religion or country of origin. Why it matters. Why all this recount of past issues, and some of them play loud inside you at a core level. First, along with the follies of now, and many things that do not make sense when you take into account our long history on this planet, it is easier to put things in perspective. History repeats itself, until the lessons are learned. And now, we are in a time of great learning, and hopefully with more awareness and mutual affection for each other and with our fragile planet. Second, when each of us can take responsibility for our role over time in creating what we have now, the division and combativeness can soften to a more cooperative spirit, enabling dialogue and diplomacy. Third, when each of us discover the pieces of luggage we carry personally to a DNA level of past times of rebellion, we can approach them at their root DNA, and make us free. Because of our conditioning, most people alive now still carry notions of me and them based on fear. This leads to hate in all its forms, prejudice, discrimination and exclusion. We need not continue to carry this baggage, we can address it within ourselves at a level of DNA. Every person who does so, is helping humanity. Mass consciousness changes do little by little, in each of us. Fourth, consider the loud buzzing you sometimes feel like a call of the spirit. You were born, now, not to be an ordinary spectator watching the parade go by. You are here to be an active participant in changing the planet to the light. You are here to show, by their example, as love looks, what he felt, and how it transforms even the darkest hours in radiance rainbow. Fifth, you are very strong at DNA level, and this is how to be a creator of change divine, and a leader of positive change. Yes, your DNA also has old standards still need to be cleaned, as well as all others. Which means, we have inner work to do. At the same time, we are strong and capable and caring. These are energies that put into action, day after day, that will make a difference. The light will prevail. Trust it.